You don't know what you're doing, and if you think that you do, then you're awful deluded. We all just play human. Lost as we all just play dress up in cosmic illusion. Sometimes I get odd in the concept of views as we all just search hard for conclusion. That's why I find comfort in talks with the moon as she watches us all going through it. We all acting. We pick jobs with a back burner passion. Every day that we wake and decisions we make, insignificant ways of distraction. We distracted from the reason why all of this happens. And if there's one guarantee in this life, then it might be the fact that not one of us has one. It isn't just you, it's all of us too. And just like you, I'm going through it. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just saying shit, cause we're all winging it. And darling, I don't care who knows it. I don't know where I'm going at all. Knows what they're doing. Not a soul in this world made our jobs confusion. We all just play human. Lost trying to find a way through a metropolis moving. So I just get lost in the music. Find what you love and then choose it. Use it, if not for a purpose, then joy and amusement. Find peace in the fact that these people got heaved in this world just like you did. Yeah, and I'm a product of it too. It's safe here, you can feel it in me. Now scream it with me, baby, I don't have a clue. Got it tattooed, we're all winging it. Okay, now bring it in. Vision only on aux, they listen, cause the shit that I've written is the ticket to the eye. What the fuck do I know, I'm just singing shit. It isn't just you, it's all of us too. And just like you, I'm going through it. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just singing shit, cause we're all winging it. And darling, I don't care who knows it. I don't know where I'm going. It's just you, it's all of us too. And just like you, I'm going through it. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just singing shit, cause we're all winging it. And darling, I don't care who knows it. I don't know where I'm going at all.
Good morning. Today is Saturday. Actually got up at a decent time today. I mean, I just woke up like 45 minutes ago, but nothing pressing this morning taking me away from streaming, so I figured I'd knock it out of the way, say hello, keep you guys updated, stay on schedule. I don't think we missed a day in almost 2 weeks, I think. Maybe it's only been a week. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving myself more credit than I deserve. But yeah, give me one moment here. All right. What's going on? Good morning. Morning, Mickey. Morning, Kite. Yo, how's it going? ABC finally paying? Yes, sir. That's what we look for. Slots. Are we still looking for 26,500 BTC? I mean, I'm hoping for even less than that. But yeah, if we, our next local low of any sort of like major, I guess right now technically we could get a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a retest of the upside, but this was the last major trend shift. You can see we didn't put in a higher high over here, so this doesn't have quite as much significance, but it is there. But yeah, 26,584 would be the next local low. There is a chance that we get a bounce off of that. If we do, hopefully if it is going to be like a bounce, hopefully we get some sort of ABC like this, and then we might be able to take that hedge trade. But if we fall through 26,584, I would be targeting 23,950 next. Just going in sequential order. Ultimately, like with the way, like with how large Ethereum, its ABC is, I'm truthfully hoping that we get some sort of retest of at least like 19,559. If not, like I really hope that we get like some sort of like double bottom. I'm hoping that this is either an eve and then we're going into an atom, or if we look at this from a larger perspective, this is the atom right here, V shape, and then we're going into like kind of a very elongated multi-month trend going into the future. Whichever one. If it's an atom and it gets over with quickly and it's just kind of like a W, I'm fine with that too. Whichever way price action would like to handle this. At your leisure, Bitcoin. Druther, what's going on? Morning, dude. Brian, what's up? How you doing? Good morning. Been following along with your health journey for a while. Consider listening to Dr. Boz and her sardine challenge. I don't know if I'm doing sardines. I'm having a lot of success with 1 meal a day. People might not agree with the way that I'm doing it right now. The way that I see it is if you do all the research on it, your fat cells have pretty much all the micronutrients, macronutrients that you need. Your body's very smart and stores things efficiently over time. So I'm eating like junk right now just to make sure that I have a caloric intake that's still relatively high, because I don't want my BMR to go down too much because of me not bringing in enough calories. And then through fasting, I can get that BMR even higher. So if I'm eating 2,000 calories a day of junk food, yes, it's bad, but I'm keeping my metabolism high. And then obviously the fasting allows the insulin to drop so that I can go to fat stores and then my metabolism actually goes up. So I'm losing weight a lot quicker than someone normally would. Once I get down to probably around like 170, 160, that's when I'll start focusing on probably expanding my eating window a little bit, probably up to like 5 hours, and then get 2 healthy meals. That way I have healthy food, but high calorie. That way I can keep everything going. But I'm down to 194 and keeping chugging. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, all things considering, from like my peak, I'm down almost 20 pounds. Like 16, 20 pounds. Do you work out at all or do any physical activities? I walk around my neighborhood. So like I have like a set walking like path of like, if I do this path, I know that it equals roughly a mile. And then I just do that over and over and over again. But I mean, doing the DoorDash, I know it doesn't sound like I'm getting any exercise, but like constantly getting in and out of the car. Yesterday, I was doing a lot of deliveries for auto parts. And I might be a little bit of a little guy, but I did not know that rotors were that freaking heavy. That was ridiculous. I had to go pick up 4 rotors and I about broke my arms. You kidding me? They need some like sort of disclaimer on there that when you accept the DoorDash, hey, this weighs 100 pounds. and 100 pounds is a lot. It's a lot, but, and I didn't weigh it myself, so I could be a little bit of a bitch here when I'm saying this, but like but to me, it felt like 100 pounds. Like a single rotor is like a little box. It's like this big. So for all of that weight to be compactly dense in that little box, and for you to pick up 4 of them at a single time and not be I was not expecting it to be that heavy. So yeah, I guess I get my muscles get a little bit of a workout when I'm doing stuff. You know, carrying kitty litter and stuff like that, doing some curls when I'm going to the car. So I'm getting physical exercise in some form, not deliberate, but it's there. With my heart rate being able to get so high right now because of the way I used to live my life, pretty much anything is considered exercise if you just look at the heart rate. Now, if my resting heart rate was 60 and it took a lot of work for it to get up to like the 120, 130 mark, then yeah, probably. Yeah, probably I would not be considered doing exercise. But market's looking good. ETH still has a little bit of ways to come down. With the way things are looking, there's definitely the possibility that we come back up one more time and form a C wave on top of the C wave. I truthfully hope it doesn't happen, but if it happens, it happens. And considering the fact that ETH still has a pretty, you can view this in two different angles. You can go, well, ETH hasn't reached its support yet, but it might find support sooner rather than later because BTC is approaching its support level. So, or you can view it as Ethereum hasn't reached its support level, so maybe BTC might actually continue past 26,584 pretty easily. US 100 still hanging out above its resistance, but is looking to come back down. Momentum is starting to turn. SPY doing the same thing, being very slow. These markets are stupid slow, but it's there. And obviously, the longer that this kind of like shifts into a downtrend and doesn't quite get it over with, obviously we can see more extreme downtrends on BTC more than likely. XMR does have a bullish pattern here off of that local low. I would be very careful with anything that's showing up right here. Obviously, from a larger time scale, we do have A to B, and we're currently awaiting the C wave right now. But there is that momentary pattern that's showing up right here. Algo had a hell of a drop. We talked about this yesterday. Algo had a very similar ABC here, where we were putting in that local low, but we looked at it and we said larger time frame. So I mean, that's almost coming up as well. KDA in a similar situation. If we put in a lower low off of 87.60 and come back above, that'd be a nice ABC. Dot in a similar situation. Doesn't have the ABC off of the current trend, but if we do continue downwards, we have A to B. Looking for that C retest right here. XTZ doesn't have that ABC on the smaller trend, but obviously looking for the macro here. So I mean, everything is moving downwards. It does have ABCs that could be possible barriers of entry for price to continue to move downwards. But yeah, we'll just have to continue to see how everything works out. DXY is kind of bearish right now, but there's nothing like, there's no ABC top or anything like telling us that it's going to be a full reversal. We still have the ABC bottom here. Still looking for a further retest of the upside. So everything should be good on that front. And Sol hasn't really settled out yet. Still has a long distance away from its bottom. Matic, similar situation. ABC currently on smaller time frames. But we do have the larger time frame ABC here at 94.28. And same thing goes for ETC. ABC top, C and downside, and then obviously we're looking for the A to B, and then we're looking for extension on C down to about 16.15, or possibly larger time frame, A to B to C down to 14.69, or larger time frame, A to B, extension C down to 12.28. How many steps do I cover a day? Let's see if it tracks it. I have my step goal pretty high. Weekly summary. So far this week, it says I want to walk 10.89 miles. So not a whole lot, but that, I mean, that's close to, I mean, that's definitely a mile a day. My average calories burned is 372. I don't think people actually realize that exercise doesn't burn a lot of calories. And a lot of the times, stuff will be fake. It's like, obviously, there's no, like, unless you have, like, tubes tied up to you or, like, whatever it might be. There's no honest way to really track how many calories are being burned. And the honest truth is that a lot of stuff lies to you and makes you feel better. Walking burns enough calories than like intense weightlifting. A lot of the caloric deficit comes from rebuilding the muscle, not necessarily the exercise itself. Oh, my phone died. That sucks. Let me go plug up my phone real quick. Get that charged up for later. Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say is, if you're honestly trying to offset a caloric deficit, because it's proven, it's 100% proven. If you say go down to 1,400 calories from a 2,000 calorie a day diet, you will lose initial weight. But the problem is that your body, your BMR, is going to shift to 1,400. Plain and simple. All right. So, yes, you would have to make up for that through the use of exercise. But the problem is, if you are not a woman, 1,400 calories a day is not enough. You can't live like that forever. So, as soon as your body set weight changes and your BMR changes to 1,400, if you're still considerably spiking your insulin throughout the day, you're still going to put on weight. It's just how physiology works. And I love how Dr. Jason Fung breaks it down. And he kind of dispels all the myths of our bodies do not follow the same law of thermodynamics. It's not calorie in versus calorie out. It's based off of hormones. So, if you are a perfectly healthy human being, or even more so, you can probably get away with calories in versus calories out and do intense exercise like HIIT cardio, in order to offset that and still lose weight consistently. But for the most part, for 50% of the humans in the United States, and probably in a couple years from now, 50% of the humans in the world, you're going to be insulin resistant. So even if you are eating less in terms of calories, if you're still spiking your insulin, you have no chance to get into the fasted state, which is what's burning fat. You can only burn fat if your insulin is below a certain threshold. Plain and simple. All right. For a normal human being, they might be able to go into a fat burning state after 10 hours after their first meal. So if they sleep for 8 hours and then they skip breakfast, they're getting plenty of fat burning because, they only need 2 hours extra of waking time when they're not eating minus their sleep. But for an insulin resistant person, it might take them 14 hours to get into a fat burning state. But by that time, yeah, they slept, and then they might just hop into breakfast because they go, I have to eat 5 meals a day if I want to lose weight. And then their insulin never gets down to a low enough point. Because once you're insulin resistant, you're releasing so much insulin that you're always above that threshold. You're just fighting your hormones. So if you don't, there is different ways to do it. Obviously, fasting is the best way to do it. If you want to still eat, then you're focusing more on eating protein and fat, and cutting out all carbs. But you still have to implement some sort of fasting period. It might not be as extreme as I have it, but it should be somewhere around like 12 hours at least. Now, like the way that I've looked at videos of how like bodybuilders cut, and it's very interesting. They've without even, some of them don't even know like the science behind it. They just intuitively know that's how it works. So like they'll have extreme days where they're eating a shit ton of calories, and essentially what they're doing is like they're keeping their BMR incredibly high through the use of like gorging on these high carb days, and then like 3 days out of the week they'll cut it down drastically and have low carb days. So their body is stuck in burning 3,000, 4,000 calories a day, but then there's 3 days where they're only bringing in 2,000 and then supplementing with exercise, which, yeah, that works because it's just another way to configure the way that all happens. If you can keep your BMR high, because that's the thing. If you start eating 5,000 calories a day drastically all of a sudden from a 2,000 calorie diet, yeah, you're going to gain weight, but eventually it's going to settle out, and then your BMR is going to go up. That might come along with negative health side effects, because high heart rate, because when you have a higher BMR, your body has more metabolism, more energy to do other things. Grow your hair, grow your nails, increase your heartbeat, all that good stuff, all bodily functions. So they're kind of just finding a workaround, but I think they're in a different place because they are healthy human beings to start off with most of the time. But if you approach that same aspect with an insulin resistant person, I don't think it's going to necessarily work out the same way. And I think trying to get them to continue that might lead to actual worse side effects, because they already have a higher heart rate. They already have hypertension, all that kind of stuff. So to put them on an even higher caloric diet could end badly, because then they might get stuck in that, and that might further increase their addiction. So I think you just have to approach it from a different point of view. If you do the fasting, it resets how you think. So then you will start eating healthier. You will start losing weight. And then you can start, like, once you're at a good weight, that's when you can start transferring over to that mentality of kind of like the bodybuilder's way of losing weight. I know, like, fasting is not the only thing. I'm saying that in terms of, like, what, for most people, in the United States at least, that's what's required, because their body is so insulin resistant that there's actually, like, no hope if they eat like a normal healthy human being, because it's a cyclical cycle. The insulin stacks on top of itself because you need to release more insulin in order to unlock the glucose cells, so to speak. Your body becomes more insulin resistant, which means it needs more insulin in order to unlock the glucose cells, which means you release more insulin. It builds on top of itself over time, and it becomes to the point where you're fighting against it unless you break the cycle. The only way to do that is kind of painful. How do you know if you're insulin resistant? The most simple way to do it is, if you're doing an 8-hour eating window, when you, like, probably about an hour before you typically eat your first meal, use a ketone test strip and see if you're in ketosis. And then, so if you're only fasting for 16 hours, which would be an 8-hour eating window, and you're barely in ketosis, that means you've probably only been in ketosis for maybe 3 or 4 hours. So then you just deduct that. So if you have a 12-hour, 16-hour, and you're barely in ketosis, you've probably been in ketosis for maybe 2-3 hours. So then you're around the typical. If you're still really not in ketosis once you eat your next meal, then you're probably a little bit more insulin resistant. But over time, it'll become less and less and less, because through fasting, the next meal you eat, you actually release less insulin during that meal, which allows you to get into ketosis faster and faster and faster. The first week that I did the 1 meal a day, for like the entire week, I was barely in ketosis. Maybe a little bit, like the slightly red. But by the second week, once my insulin levels, came back down to earth, and my insulin sensitivity started coming back, I started to see a little bit more purple, and then so on and so on and so on. Fish, stop, buddy. Fish, hey. Same people every day. Same people every day. Nothing new. Stop. Hey, brother, can you talk a little bit about what you do, show or teach in the Patreon? The Patreon is just a way to support me and get in touch with me quite consistently. So you'll have access to the Discord group, which does have tutorial videos on there that are not on YouTube. I post my trade setups. Obviously, I've been a lot more active this week, so I didn't really post the large trade setups because I've been streaming every single day. There's multiple days leading up to it. But when things start to move fast, and I don't really have time to just like hop on stream because I've already streamed that day maybe, I post those setups, and then as I get more and more back into a decent schedule, I will be scheduling like once a week, twice a week of me stopping the Discord for hour, 2 hours, saying hello, talking to you guys, answering questions, all that good stuff. Fish. This dog, man. Hold on. Actually turned too hard and I disconnected my headset. I challenge you to do 20 bodyweight squats for 2 weeks, Kite. For sure. For sure. Hold on. I'm trying to find the hole. Found it. There we go. Actually see purple? No, like you said, it's on the test strip. So the test strip, it goes like kind of like an off-white color, and then it goes slightly pink, slightly red, slightly purple, dark purple. Obviously dark purple, you're producing a crazy amount of ketones. Now, like after a decent period of time, I would say probably like 2 months of doing either a keto diet, which is, you know, protein-based, fat-based, or you're doing intermittent fasting, you actually should see a drop on ketone strips in terms of like how much you see. So like maybe for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll be seeing purple after the first week. And then after that, you probably will see a decline in how much you're seeing, because your body wasn't used to using ketones as its primary driver. So a lot of the times it can't really process it all fast enough, so it has to excrete it. But once your body becomes more fat adapted, meaning that it's using ketones as its primary fuel source and becomes efficient at doing so, you'll see an increase in energy levels, mental clarity, and you'll see a drop on piss sticks. All right. But if you're still interested to see how much you're in ketosis, you would have to get a blood monitor where you prick your finger and it tests you. I think if you're just starting, the keto strips are perfectly fine. But like I said, later on they do become inaccurate, and it might give you a feeling of, oh, I'm not in ketosis, I need to try harder. At that point, you do need to switch over to a blood test if you're really interested in it, to track those levels. But by that time, you should know that it's happening, because you're seeing the weight come off, you're feeling better, your energy levels are up. You don't need to see a physical marker to know that it's working, because you already saw it working and you didn't change anything, and you're good to go. Also, you should drink a minimum of 3 liters of water a day while doing keto to flush out the fat. Otherwise, kidney stones will get formed. True and kind of false. You don't necessarily drink when you're thirsty. So like, I drink a decent amount of water per day. I don't think I'm necessarily drinking 3 liters. But not all of your fat is processed through, your kidneys and all that kind of stuff. You actually breathe your fat out. You can sweat it out, you can breathe it out, you can poop it out. It just goes out all different ways. So it's not all going out through stool. That's what the sardine challenge does. Protein, so you have better results when whatever nutritional strategy you're doing. In your case, I'm mad. Is it just called sardine diet, or does it involve eating sardines? Because I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay on eating sardines. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, if it's nothing but protein and fat, of course it's gonna do wonders for you getting into ketosis and all that good stuff. But sardines ain't my style. I'm sorry. I'd rather trade off a little bit of, hours where I can't eat than rather to eat sardines. That's actually what I do. So, like, let's say that I forget to buy water from, like, the gas station or anything like that. Whenever I stop in at, like, Five Guys, I'll actually ask them for a water cup, and then I'll get, like, a little packet of salt. I'm not dumping the entire packet of salt in my drink, but, like, maybe, like, half of it. Just, like, a little sprinkle. And that helps with water retention. The whole thing is if you're not eating throughout the day and getting salt through that, then hello, liquid death. Why? Okay, so send you like $3. Okay. Bye-bye. Give me a second. Good to go. Go and play some Wordle. Test our mental skills for today. Audio. Like. Okay. Too easy. Wordle's broke. Any TV series recommendations? Off the top of my head, you got Beef on Netflix. Some people like it, some people don't. I liked it, but the main thing that like made me really like it was the final scene, like the final like act, and I think it's a really good series that like displays like raw human emotion in terms of like people just get angry for no reason, and at the end like they have like this sort of resolution, and they trip, and it's very cool TV series. Obviously got The Mandalorian if you're into that kind of stuff. Barry on HBO just started streaming again. If you haven't seen any of the seasons of Barry, I envy you because there's so much content. Such a good show. Season 3 just started coming out, so if you start catching up right now, you'll probably be able to binge watch season 3. You got Chuck on HBO. Very old show, came out like 2006, but it's got 5 seasons, 96 episodes. Kind of like, it's not like a masterpiece by any means. It's a very dumb, lighthearted show, but it's fun. And then you got Dave on Hulu, which is just a funny show altogether, but also very emotional for some reason. Very good at doing that. One show that I am actually kind of sad isn't getting another season is the bastard son of the devil himself. I don't know what like the actual name of the show is, but I know that's a part of the name of the show. It's almost like one of those teenager like witch and warlock shows, but it's very adult in terms of like how much gore and shit is in that. And it was fun to watch. And it didn't feel like I was like some dumbass teenager watching it. And you almost got the sense that, obviously Wednesday was built around that concept. It was built for teenagers. So a lot of it is like this cheesy, like plot stuff but then also like it kind of works for adults because the entire show was not necessarily cheesy plot. There's the Pentaveret, which is an enclosed series. It's 1 season, that's it. If you haven't seen the Pentaveret, by Mike Myers. That's also a good one. Depends on your humor, of course. But I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones. Me personally, I haven't. I can't really. Doom Patrol on HBO is a good one. Yeah, that's all I got for you right now. Okay, do you have any experience with the Echo wallet for KDA? The terms of use seems a little dodgy. What do you recommend to store KDA? To be honest, I have been keeping a little bit of KDA on my spot wallet for Bybit. But then other than that, you got Zelcore. I'll look at other options as well and see what's up. Have you seen This Is Us? I don't think so. It rings a bell, so I might know what the show is, but I don't think I've like watched it. Another fun show is The Other Two on HBO. It's about like 2 siblings and then like a parody sibling of Justin Bieber and like how they deal with like their 13-year-old brother becoming rich and famous and they have like weird lives. I've been meaning to get around to watching the Dirk Gently show. I saw like a little clip from it and I thought the clip was hilarious. So like it enticed me to like want to go watch the show. I think Dirk Gently is on Netflix. Not Netflix, Hulu. Which I just re-upped my Hulu subscription to watch Dave. Like that's legitimately how good Dave is. If you have not watched Dave, watch Dave. Like Dave is the type of show where like if you don't like having your Hulu active, once the new season comes out, you'll renew your subscription because it's worth it. See if I can find the little clip. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Why is the audio like that? I'll probably get demonetized. I mean, I don't even have monetization on. The quality is so low. Like no context of knowing what the show is about. This just like piques my interest. It's very weird, and I like that.
No, no, no.
At first, I thought she was like a zombie the way she was acting.
Oh, God. No.
I just like how they both get tired. Because in movies, they'll run for like 17 miles before like they even stop.
Dirk Gently, you are a dead man.
Who's Dirk Gently?
You're not Dirk Gently?
No.
What, are you kidding me right now? Then why did you run?
You have a machete? And you killed Red!
Why didn't you just say I'm not Dirk Gently?
Because I don't know who that is!
Yeah, that's the scene that I saw that got me interested in perhaps watching the show. I didn't find out until a couple days ago that we're getting rid of daylight savings time. I know like the US is like one of the only places that really do it anymore. But I kind of like that. We'll have longer days for forever. Obviously, the actual tilt of the Earth also changes that, but it's kind of cool that like we've shifted perspective, because before we had like actual electricity, obviously changing the clocks allows us to have more working daytime. So now that we have electricity, we don't need it. We can get rid of it and join everybody else in the future. All right, guys. It's about that time. See, like that's the thing. Like, when I used to do this, I used to like be counting down the seconds until it was 11, and I would leave earlier than 11 because I was actually hungry. But last week, like I know that I eat around this time, but I'm not necessarily like super hungry, which is weird to feel that. Hey man, saw your stream where Crypto Lifer came in chat. That was weird. Yeah. So, interesting story about that. Crypto Lifer was on Ryan Matta's show, and Ryan brought me up. Here, I have a little clip that I can show you guys. Where's my Discord?
And Kite Crypto is probably one of the best overall leverage traders that I've ever met.
I used to troll him because I had like 5,000 subscribers, right?
Yep.
And I would like, you know, when you're new, you're looking like, why are these people getting more views? You know, I was a rapper too, so
Yep.
I came into the space a little more aggressive than I should. Now I'm way more reserved.
Yep.
And I was like, what is this guy doing? So like, I would be like late at night, and I was like, and I would make jokes that I wasn't mean to him. He probably remembers me now. He's like, but I wouldn't be
He wasn't mean. He was weird.
real mean. But I was just like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, did you know? I was like, what kind of hoodie are you gonna wear tomorrow? You know, I was just messing with.
That's such a fucking lie, dude. He might have said that at one point, like, what kind of hoodie you gonna wear tomorrow? But if anybody remembers the shit what he was saying, it was very like very weird. Like, why don't you love me? Why don't you love me, Kite? So I mean, forgive and forget, I guess. But you know, to say that he just came in the chat. If I can't bring up he was a rapper. If he was a rapper, do you think he would have more creative things to say than "Why don't you love me"? Why don't you love me, Kite?
with the
Yep.
That's the only thing that I remember, but I know there was more. I know he was like he was like my channel's gonna eat you alive, and he surpassed me. But
and I would see him with
you
the
know what
stream every
happened?
night. And it's just so
I
funny how we
kept
all kind of half know each other in
I
a way,
kept
right? We're all
Yep.
like conscious of
I
each
kept
other.
my
And we
integrity. That's for sure. I didn't go from being the hoodie guy, chilling in his room, to going out and spending $5,000 on monitors to put in the background and a suit and tie to make myself look like something more than I am. Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, thing is if people are willing to flock to you because of that, good on you. You found a good marketing strategy. But for me, I don't want to be the show and tell guy. I don't want people being in my chat talking to me because of what I got and what I look like. I want people to talk to me because they like me. That's it. What's up, Kite Bro? Been off the peanuts this week? Yeah, man. I don't think you're supposed to be especially if you're allergic. You doing okay? I feel like you would have went into a state of delirium at some point. And that's the thing. Like Crypto Face is the daddy to a lot of these channels. Um, mine included. Like Crypto Face gave me a shout out, gave me a huge boost in numbers very early on. But he wouldn't have done that unless I was using Market Cipher. Plain and simple. He looked at it from a marketing strategy. I'm using Market Cipher. Hey, look at this guy. He's using Market Cipher. You buy it too. So I played a part in that. But the thing is that these channels are still piggybacking. It's like an ecosystem. All right, you have uh, Jason Casper, Tom Crown, Crypto Lifer. They all use Market Cipher. So when the big guy, CryptoFace, starts bringing in more people into the market, people obviously look up Market Cipher, and then their videos show up. So it's just a big marketing thing. Um, and like yeah, if I would have kept doing that, I probably would have had a much larger channel. But I rather do what's right for me than do what's right for my wallet in terms of selling my soul in order to, you know. Okay, enough of that rant. Nope, not long on BTC. What you see on the chart is me just anticipating that we could see a bounce at about 26,584, forming a potential B wave, but I would still need a C wave to come back down and retest if I was to take a long. Right now, there's nothing. It's just a single downtrend. Nothing for me to take interest in. I don't. Yeah, if they changed, they changed. Some people, they'll. The problem is that like a lot of these channels, they want something that's easy to market to people. Um, so indicators obviously is like the easiest thing. You have a little thing on your screen that can tell you when to enter trades because people don't want to put any guesswork into it. Now, from like our perspective, if you use the ABC method, how simple is it? It's dead simple. The only thing that you really have to control is like your time frame. All right, if you start getting too wild and you start going to the 5 minute time frame, you're gonna find 1,000 trades. And then yeah, it revolves around a little bit of tweaking, but in that process, you learn what real trading is. You learn risk to reward ratio, win ratio, um, how to balance leverage, uh, how to support and resistance honestly works, and what to expect, and how to look at the market from a different perspective instead of calling out stupid numbers out of nowhere and just saying that we're going to these levels. You're looking at it from a chronological order, if this and that. Um, so yeah, to me it's simple, but people just want an easy answer, so they flock to those channels. Is what it is. Whether it's like Fu Manchu, I do recognize the virtue in creating free indicators, But that doesn't necessarily mean that's better for the people. They're still going to lose money on trades. Yeah. I was wondering what some of these fancy, rich looking YouTubers real life looks like. You'll never see it. That's the thing. So that's why I try to keep it as real as possible. I got my own struggles. Like, I'll be honest, like, I'm really good at making money, but for the past couple of years, I haven't been good at spending it. I've done dumb things, bought stupid cars that I don't need, and really, like, I did the typical thing where, like, your lifestyle increases because you're now making more money, which if I would have done it the opposite way, I would have been in a much better position overall. Um, so that's why I'm putting my nose to the grindstone. I'm saying I'm still young. I still got plenty of time. If this is how I trade, I'm technically a swing trader. I don't have to sit here and monitor the charts all day. So what else am I doing with my day? All right, I stream a little bit, but then besides that, what am I doing? You know? So if I can get out there and make, $150 a day to offset my bills and my taxes and everything like that, while still making money in crypto, it's a win-win situation. People look at that and they go, what? You work? What a peasant. I work for my mental health and I work to make sure that my my wallet looks good. Um, the problem is that I had like part-time jobs um, that weren't necessarily paying the bills, and I went full-time into trading because I got lucky. And the mental state it puts you in to have like money coming out of thin air, really toxic, very toxic. So that's the thing. Yeah, me and Johnny last night we were looking at boxables and like building pretend neighborhoods. So I people hate that idea also. Like they look at like working DoorDash as the same as like buying a teeny home. They go, "What? You don't want a 17,000 square foot home with a 10-car garage and all the garage filled with cars, and you don't want 6 wives and be a Mormon?" Honestly, no. No, I don't want that. Um, I would like to have I would like to have the option to travel and do a lot of stuff and not be tied down to a gigantic house. So the boxable, obviously that's one idea, but obviously convex homes, stuff like that, stuff that's um, outside of the box, even though the name is boxable. Um, I would like to build like a really nice neighborhood that's like pet friendly and community friendly and kind of get back to the good old days, which sounds almost has good old days has some connotations with it. I won't lie. I promise I'm not thinking in the way that you think I might be thinking when I say the good old days. I'm talking like if you look at a regular neighborhood now, especially rich neighborhoods, there's so much land in between the houses. People don't really talk to each other anymore. Like in a neighborhood, they might go, "Oh my God, did you see on the Ring app that some car got hit?" And they talk through the Ring app. But like what I envision would be like like double stacked boxable homes. So roughly like 7,000 square feet, 8,000 square feet homes, which for a couple or a single person is plenty of space. Like you have a kitchen, bathroom, shower, all that kind of stuff. You're good to go. Like you don't need a crazy amount of space. And then it would be very like close together, not trailer park close together, but you would have like a nice walkway. You would have like a fireplace, like gathering center in the middle, and it would kind of be like in a straight line walkway. And then the driveways would be in the back of the like imagine like a rectangle. Driveways are going from the outside in, and then through the middle is the walkway, and then the house is like that. So it's purely to walk to your house and stuff like that. And then there would be probably be like a 4 foot high fence around the property enclosing all of the houses with like gate codes. So it's not like a tall enough fence where it makes you feel like you're imprisoned, but it's enough mainly because I want it to be like a pet friendly environment. So if you want a pet and you live in that small of a home, you do need access to land for your pets to roam around and get their exercise and all that kind of stuff and for them to be happy. So just imagine like an entire neighborhood full of dogs, well behaved dogs, and tight knit community members. And like you can just copy and paste that and make it into a very nice neighborhood where people know each other and protect each other and everybody's friends. Like that's what I want. Obviously, it's going to start off with purely family and friends, and I'll probably build another subdivision, next to it, where I can start renting them out. Um, making profit because obviously it will be paying off the homes because the mortgage for a boxable is like up to like $500 a month, and that includes like all utilities getting installed. So you can probably make some good profit off of it as well and create a very nice community. And then once you have enough residents, you can start petitioning stores to come and put their stores down. Because obviously, if they have a lot of residents there and there's no other competition around them for, say, like a food store, boom, they're making profit. You people have more of a reason to live in that community now. You know, but I'd rather live my life honestly to the best of my ability than put on some sort of face trying to, I don't know, get more subs or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, the boxable is not something I'm planning to do like within the next year. It's something that like I'm gonna start building up money for the land, start building up money for a couple boxables, and then start looking at it. So that's probably like 5 years down the line, something like that. Maybe 10. Who knows? Just being honest. But by that time, I'll be 34. So I'm 23 now. I'll be 24 in November. Boxables is probably going bankrupt. It depends on how they do it. I don't think they're gonna be offering really like a 30-year mortgage on a boxable until like it's very well off because that's a lot of financing. There's gonna be a lot of people that can afford that. So for them to put out that much infrastructure that fast probably take a little bit of time, but more than likely for the foreseeable future, it's going to be hefty down payments, which a boxable comes fully equipped for around 60 grand. So it's a good trade-off. I mean, like, you pay 60K for a car. Um, I think people can swing 60K for a home, especially if you're single. If you're single, one casita is all you need. Plain simple. Build a little fence around it for your dog. Boom, you're done. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, let's go watch it a little bit because it does interest me. Obviously, like I said, Boxable is like one of the leading homes in this kind of sense, but they're modular. So
We're here to absolutely
like this is the type that I'm thinking for like the neighborhood. They're not crazy large. They're customizable. You can upgrade the siding to have uniqueness in terms of making it look like an actual house, not just a box. But give me some good pictures here, good videos.
your Tesla.
But it comes like with a full kitchen, comes with all the appliances. This is the casita, I believe. So you got a bed, you got a TV. Obviously, like, you can upgrade all this stuff. You can probably get a bigger TV. That's your style. But like that's all I really need. And then you can like build off of it and attach them. It's like Legos almost. It's really cool. Yo, what? Just 60K? You want the community to be safe, right? If you're implying that cheap housing is going to bring in terrible people, I mean, it's just like any other private community. They have to be vetted. Obviously, background checks, all that kind of stuff, credit checks, and just getting a sense of their personality because they have to fit the community as well. Now, there's not going to be any, what's the word? Uh, we're not going to ostracize any group of people, based off of anything besides like background checks and stuff like that. But they just got to be a friendly person. That's all. And like I said, uh, it's gonna be a community. So like there'll be security cameras, stuff like that, gate codes. Obviously, the fences aren't, like I said. I want to build like a very open space, so the fences aren't going to be like 7 foot high to keep people out. Um, but it's a hurdle. It's a hurdle. Where do you plant the unit? So that's the thing. Like it's 60K for the home, but then you have to include stuff like foundation, which can be, you know, uh, I was watching some videos and the estimate can be like 20K for a foundation, up to 20K for a foundation. You have to get piping installed. So it comes pre-piped. So like you have all the pipes for septic tanks and all the pipes for HVAC, and then once that's installed, you have contractors come in and set up all that kind of stuff and run the pipes to the house and hook them up. So I mean, like it's 60K for the home, but then it'd probably be around the ballpark of like 150K for like everything to be set up in the end. Probably maybe even a little bit more than that. Um, but that's the thing. Like once you pay for the infrastructure to be there, then you're good. Um, and then you can start paying off the principal and stuff like that. Do you take applications from Europe? Like I said, it's gonna be 10 years down the line. Who knows what life's got in store for me? I don't know if it'll be in Virginia. Obviously, like uh, I I know that like I'm biased. So like if you grow up in one place, you kind of feel at home there. So Virginia's home to me. And Virginia, when it comes to like the East Coast, I feel like is the perfect spot. You're very close to DC, hour and a half, 2 hours away. And it's in the middle. So if you want to go vacation down in the Carolinas, or if you want to go over a little bit and visit some friends and towards the mountains, you can do that. If you want to drive down to Florida one week, you have that option. If you want to go up to New York, whatever, it's in the middle. So you have so many options when it comes to East Coast. Obviously, some people don't like the East Coast. I like it. I feel like it's a good mix of weather, especially Virginia. It can get pretty cold and can get pretty hot, and most of the time it's in the in between. If you're further up north than like New York, it's usually colder. Obviously, if you're in Florida, it's usually always hot. So I like living in the middle. So if I can find land that makes sense, and that's the thing, like you have to find land that is decently cheap and makes sense to get the entire installation. It needs to be close to utility poles and all that kind of stuff. But it also can't be more than I would say 30 minutes away from like any major shopping center, because people are willing to drive, but up to a certain extent. If you have to drive an hour to go get food and everything like that, it makes it a little bit more difficult for a barrier of entry. Like I said, once the residents are built up and there's a decent amount of people that live in the area, then you could start getting petitions for like a McDonald's and a Food Line and stuff like that, and start building out an actual community, and people start coming faster. Heard it here first. Come faster. How are the winters in Virginia? Like 10, 12 years ago, they were quite awful. Like I remember like in fourth grade, which was quite a bit a ways away. We had like 11 feet of snow. So, but nowadays it's you don't typically get that. Um, Winters are fine. Winters you don't need snow. Like you don't technically need snow tires. There will be icy days sometimes, but it's a pretty good place to live. The thing, like, you know, I would like to have a community that has a lot of things built into it that can be shared. So like the cost can be shared. Because for each individual person to get a sauna in their home, that's a lot of money. So like maybe per community, like let's say there's 10 boxables in a community. All right, there might be 2 public saunas. I don't know if we would have public ice plunges. if anybody is into that. That might just be a personal thing, but because obviously getting in someone else's water, obviously it would have to be filtered, but that would increase the cost. Um, yeah, just spitballing. This is what I want to do. I've always talked about the the thing that I want to do in terms of like having a health center where like you have monitored dark retreats and stuff like that, and as certain psychedelics become more legal across the country, have those monitored by doctors, all that good stuff. Um, Fasting, um, but obviously it might start off as just this and then build out. If you're making moonshine if you lived in Virginia, I think you're thinking of West Virginia, like the mountains. Like Virginia, trust me, like you have some country bumpkins, but for the most part, Virginia is very urban nowadays. Like, especially like further up north, you have Fairfax, Arlington, Tyson's Corner, stuff like that. Towards the middle of Virginia, you got Ferrisburg. Ferrisburg is very nice. It's a very good city. It's like the in between. It's not like super busy. I'm in a stream right now. What's up? But yeah, Richmond obviously is off the charts in terms of stupid people. But how's the HOA? Can I light off fireworks on the 4th? Sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll have some sort of like designated area for like festive activities. But if there is going to be an HOA, it's going to be used effectively. Like a lot of HOAs just feel like a money suck. It doesn't feel like anything's actually getting done. Like you see all these posts online where like people are paying $300 HOAs and they build a park and it's just like a patch of grass with a bench. And you're like, oh, that's what my $300 HOA is going to. But no, it would be like $50 a month and it would actually be used to improve the site. But yeah. All right. I'm going to go. I'm going to stop daydreaming about my future family and friends compound and get my day started. All right, guys, let's go and do the thing. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I know tomorrow is Sunday, but hey, I am enjoying the streams. So we'll be on for a little bit tomorrow. Okay. Are you ready? Bye.